My name is Jessica, and sort of like everyone's story so far, I've been born and raised and baptized in the Catholic Church, and I went through the motions. Well, I was little, so it's like, what was I supposed to do? But I went through Sunday school, I went to all the church services, and I sang in the church choir, and when I was little, I never really enjoyed it. Like, it was just something that I always was forced to go to. And then, in about my 6th grade, my sister started to get to know a friend that's like her best friend right now, and they started to get us to go to their Lutheran church. And this was a big transition for my family because from Catholic to Lutheran, it's a lot less, it's going from like more traditional to more contemporary, and that's how I look at it. And I started going to the junior high group to go through with my confirmation. And I met the youth pastors. I got to know like some of the other students decently well, but I was still just going through the motions. And then once confirmation was over, I was enrolled in a private high school. So I attended there for my freshman and sophomore year. And I sort of dropped from going to church mostly, except for like the Sundays that my parents made me go. And I went to high school group rarely, but it wasn't like something that I tried to get myself to go to. And it wasn't until the end of my sophomore year that I started to truly realize like what my faith was and that there wasn't really anything there. It was almost like empty in a sense. And then the summer before my junior year, one of my friends got me to go to Forest Home with my church. And at summer camp, I sort of realized that God's love is never ending, and he loves you whether or not you're paying attention or not. And then this is sort of a turning point for me because it got me to want to know more about Christianity and like further understand my own faith. And then my junior year, I tried to act as like a sponge almost, and like learn everything that I could to further understand. And that was the year my faith probably started to become my own, and I decided to like take it into my own hands and learn stuff for myself. And then my senior year was this past year has been probably the most influential on me because I started to have trouble like grasping like all of my faith and like what I've been told. Like it just seemed weird to not have to accept, but be able to accept the idea that like someone you've never met like loves you undyingly, and even if you're not paying attention. And it just sort of dawned on me that I wanted to like further understand things. So I started to constantly question and just ask questions to understand. And I began to almost like wrestle with God because I didn't really know what was going on and I wanted answers. So to like further understand that, I'm going to read some verses from Genesis 32, 22 to 30. And these verses are about Jacob and how he wrestled with God. During the night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 servant wives, and his 11 sons and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking to the other side, he sent over all his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man came and wrestled with him until the dawn became break. When the man saw that he could not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of his socket. Then the man said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." "What is your name?" the man asked. He replied, "Jacob." "Your name will no longer be Jacob," the man told him. "From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won." "Please tell me your name," Jacob said. "Why do you want to know my name?" the man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God, for he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared." So I chose that because I felt like that was probably the most relatable verse for me, and like me wrestling with God in a sense and wanting to further understand. And I will constantly wrestle with God, and like I'm sure some of you guys have sort of wrestled with him in a sense, even though you haven't really known it, of like truly understanding what Christianity is and like what you wanted your faith to be. And it's like important to know that it's not necessarily a bad thing to question your faith and want to understand, and if it doesn't make sense. But just my wish for all of you guys is to like make your faith your own and sort of step in and try to understand. Like even just don't just accept what's given to you, like try to further get to know it for yourself. Thanks.